Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you for attending California Rheumatology Alliance Honorary Luncheon. I am Sami Matias. I'm a president of California Rheumatology Alliance. Before we get started today's celebrations, I'd like to share with you about CRA, California Rheumatology Alliance, is and what to do. California Rheumatology Alliance is a nonprofit organization and dedicated for improving the lives of patients with rheumatic disease in California. We are committed in advocacy in Sacramento for needs of our patients, and we believe that every person with rheumatic disease deserves access to high quality care. So we have an advocacy day, actually May 3rd. I will be there in Sacramento with Dr. Anthony Badola from San Francisco. Will be there in Sacramento. We actually advocacy for our like Congress and Senate people there in Capitol. And also in the last year, we did a lot of advocacy bill. We were able to pass step therapy in California, authorizations law in California, and we testified in the Congress there many times. So at CRA, we recognize the importance of education. We encourage like California rheumatologists to join us in our mission by standing their own stories and come to us actually. If anyone wants to join us in May 3rd, we'd love to have you. We have patients going with us. And we believe also in educations, and we're doing a lot of webinars and resources to help our rheumatologists in their management, and we have our meetings, CRA meeting here this time, and we have another meeting in San Francisco next year. But actually today we are planning also to do another middle level like physician assistant, nurse practitioner meeting hopefully this year, and we encourage everyone to send the PAs once we have the date. PAs and nurse practitioners, it will be more clinical, how they practice in their offices, how protect you, how they seeing patient, because I think this is the future. And we'll let you announce that soon. So, and if you have any question about CRA, we have our executive director, Shana like Castro here, and she is actually the one who is like executive director. We have actually full-time lobbyist who is us also here. He's the one who fight for us in Sacramento. Tim Madden, yes, here, he's a fighter for every bill approved, and since we have him, we have a lot of bills. Actually, we're exceeding other states in our bills, and we work in a lot of other bills. And definitely we acknowledge this, this today. Actually, we celebrate this award, which is Lifetime Award, and this award, basically, we give it to individuals who are dedicated their lives to rheumatology, whose work has had dedicated in rheumatology for years, teaching, research, and we acknowledge hard work and dedication and outstanding achievement. And this award is Lifetime Award from CRA, and also that is encourage and inspire new generations of getting follow the steps of these legends. So today actually we have a great persons. Actually we're gonna award Dr. Daniel Wallace. Let me tell you quickly about Dan Wallace. And he finished his medical school at USC. Always come back to USC. So and then his internship was in Brown University, his residency in Cedars-Sinai, his fellowship at UCLA, now it turned out to be UCLA. So he's board certified in internal medicine and rheumatology, have a very actually extensive bio. And when we think about him, he's different. He's doing more than 400, he did more than 400 peer-reviewed manuscripts in journals, 450, and 30 book chapters, and also 8 textbooks. And no one knows, everyone, the rheumatologists all over the world, knows what's Dubois for rheumatology. This is big, he's writing for this book for years. And he is actually working with National Institutes of Health. Most of medications that comes in the market for lupus has to go through Dr. Wallace. And we can say, he's a celebrity doctor too. So all celebrities, big names, seeing Dr. Wallace. So that's something we are proud of that. So Dr. Wallace, recipient of multiple awards from Lupus Foundation, Arthritis Foundations, and for Scleroderma Foundations, and multiple humanitarian award, and for lupus and Sjogren. And basically, Dr. Wallace also mentor for many students and many fellows all over the world. They come and learn from him. And he was like working with Dr. Dubois a long time in county clinic, USC clinic, long time ago. That's starting how treating patient lupus. Before this era, lupus patient was treated with NSAIDs or aspirin. Now look what they have now. And that is with the hard work that Dr. Wallace do. And we have him like multiple, actually, in many journals. He was like the best doctors in Los Angeles journals and multiple like journals for all over. He has a lot of publication also for Sjogren, lupus, fibromyalgia, central pain syndrome. His name is everywhere. We are proud to have him actually. And we are proud to give the presentation, like award, lifelong award for CRA for Dr. Wallace. So first, we have a couple of speakers first. First one was for like Dr. Alan Metzger. He's supposed to be here, but he's in the hospital. So he's sending, actually planning to come, but you know, and I hope he's doing well now, but unfortunately unable. And he sent his congratulations and reward for lifelong working with Dr. Wallace. And I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Michael Wiseman, and has video, pre-recorded video for Dr. Wallace.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry that I can't be at your luncheon, and especially to be there with Dan Wallace and celebrate his honor today. But I'm at work, actually, at the American College of Rheumatology sessions in Florida, doing some important work for the college and trying to stand in for Dan because he's supposed to be there too. But the reason he's not there is this week is Dan Wallace week in Los Angeles. Now, how do I know that? Well, when I was asked to give this little talk about him today, I didn't know which event it was because, believe it or not, on April 27th, just a couple of days ago, he is also being honored at an event put on by Lupus Los Angeles, Lupus LA, called Stories Under the Stars, honoring Dan Wallace. And then there's the CRA event that's taking place today. And so, I mean, I was confused. I didn't know which event that I was actually going to be talking about Dan. Maybe both events, I don't know. So what I did is I called Dan and I spoke to him and I said, Dan, which of these two events? And he said, oh, it's the one on Saturday. And then I asked him, I said, well, what do you think about all this? He goes, but you know something? I've never been honored before. You know, all these years I've been in Los Angeles, and no one knows who I am. No one's ever honored me for any activities. And after I got up off the floor, I was sitting in the chair at the time, I got back up off the floor. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, can you believe that he said that? I'm looking for a new definition of the word chutzpah. But Dan Wallace didn't think he'd ever been honored before. In fact, we can't even make up our mind as to which place he's being honored this week. Let's just call it Honored Dan Wallace Week. And then we all can be kind of excited about it. So let me move on a little bit and just provide a little bit of background today about why I'm here part of honoring Dan Wallace. I came up to Los Angeles from San Diego in 1999 from UCSD. And that's when I met, because I'd seen them before, but that's when I met Metzger and Wallace. Now, that was quite a team. I'm just a country doctor from San Diego, you know, and I just didn't know these people. But I couldn't believe my eyes over the next 18 or 20 years. I mean, well, Metzger was, you know, he was Dr. Hollywood, and Wallace was Dr. Lupus, and they had advertising about themselves all over the place. It was on side of buses that were going down the street. There were posters, there were sandwich boards out on the street. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing in Los Angeles at the time. And I mean, even one of them had a license plate that said Dr. Lupus, and the other one had a license plate that said B27 Doc. I mean, give me a break. You know, who are these people? Well, I found out. Boy, did I find out. And you probably all know who they are too. And God forbid, that's why you're here today. So it was really quite an experience for me to be there for all those years, going to these Lupus LA events every year, honoring animals. I mean, there were people standing up, screaming about how he saved my life. And of course, you know, rheumatologists, we don't usually save lives. I mean, but there was no doubt about it that there were hundreds of people talking about that Dan Wallace saved my life. Mostly movie stars, and so he was probably responsible for, you know, perpetuating the entire entertainment industry in Los Angeles, saving so many lives, otherwise there wouldn't be an entertainment industry. And I would go to these events, and you know, the rubber chicken events, and we would have all these people getting up there and saying, it was like Lourdes. It was like people coming there to these events, throwing away their crutches, and being there for the master. Now, and then there was Lupus. I mean, I considered the whole thing Lupus Inc., actually. There were books for everybody. There were books for patients, the patient's sisters, the patient's brothers, the patient's mothers and fathers. I mean, there was an opportunity for everyone to have a book about lupus. It was really quite an amazing time. And especially going to all these dinners. Now, here I am talking about my friend Dan Wallace in a kind of tongue-in-cheek manner, and I just want to say that in spite of everything, in spite of all this craziness that I was associated with for all those years and associated with Dan, what I really want to say is how much I love Dan and how much of a good friend he is and how much of a caring physician he is and how much he is generous to a fault, to his patients, to his family, to his friends, and to the community. But not that many people you can say that about, that they're that generous and that caring. And I think a lot of it comes from his mentor, Ed Du Bois, who he revered, who was quite an individual, who gave, again, much more than he took. So, in spite of the fact that I wasn't sure which event that I was going to honor Dan at this week, but I'm sure glad I was at this one. And at the end of the day, what I want to say is I love you, Dan. You're very special. There will probably never be another person like you. And we should be grateful for that anyway. And that you're a very good friend. You're the best doctor I know. And I love you very much. So congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Wiseman, very much. And we tell you how lucky we are. We grow up and between these legends and top doctor in the world here in Los Angeles. We are really lucky. Okay, so now, and we have Dr. Christine Lee. She is an esteemed colleague for Dr. Wallace, sharing her wishes and via video also. Yes.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Christine Lee, and I'm the lucky rheumatologist who gets to work with the Dr. Daniel Wallace on a daily basis. I joined Dr. Wallace straight out of fellowship 6 years ago when I was just as he likes to call it, a neonate, and I've gotten to know him quite well over the past few years. We made it through the terrible twos, which is what I like to call the pandemic, and now we're solidly into the adolescent phase at our joint practice at the Wallace and Lee Center. For those of us in training, Dr. Wallace can be quite intimidating when you first meet him. The man's got over 500 peer-reviewed publications and has authored several informative books for patients on lupus, Sjogren's, and fibromyalgia. You wonder how he gets any sleep. Well, I happen to know for a fact that he has the admirable talent of never having to use an alarm clock. He's gotten up naturally, he swears, every morning since he was born at probably 4 a.m. He then proceeds to come to clinic at 6 a.m. and sees 20 plus patients all before noon. He's either bionic or more likely he's got some special black tea with a very high caffeine content. It's the latter. So I've learned a great deal from Dr. Wallace. I've learned how to quickly process information and come up with a decisive treatment plan for a patient with confidence and efficiency. He taught me early on that most of the patients we see who come for second, third, fourth, or even fifth opinions are desperate for someone to listen to them and to come up with a plan, even if it's not rheumatologic in nature, to give them a sense of direction that brings them back from feeling so lost. I'm sure many of us have heard him being called a cowboy or have called him that ourselves. The truth is he's often aggressive in his approach to treating a sick patient, but he gets the job done. I can't even count how many patients of his I've seen over the years who tell me, Dr. Wallace saved my life, Dr. Wallace gave me my life back, I was able to travel the world again, I was able to have children, I was able to have a career. And I think that's what we all strive for as rheumatologists. Dr. Wallace has just done this for 40 plus years, and he's blazed a trail for the younger generation of neonates. I could go on and on about his accomplishments, but I'm sure many of you are aware of this already, and should you like to read more about what he's done, feel free to check out his Wikipedia page. Yes, he has a wiki page, which I think is the ultimate lifetime achievement. I've been told I'm allowed to roast him today, as I have to see him on a daily basis. I think I'll hold back today. He knows the staff and I roast him on a daily basis. He doesn't need more attention today, even though he loves it. If you want any personal dirt on him, feel free to reach out to me directly. Congratulations to Dr. Wallace on achieving the CRA Lifetime Achievement Award. I know this will not be your last Lifetime Achievement Award. Cheers to your illustrious career, and I look forward to continuing to work together for the upcoming years. Sorry I couldn't be there today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now, it's a surprise one. I'm asking the wife of Dr. Wallace, Janice, to come and let us know something. Please, I know we married somebody for a long time. Let's go ahead.
I have knee replacements and joint replacements. Don't get rheumatology. I have nothing prepared because I wasn't expecting to say anything. I just wanted you to know that these people are all very, very dear to us. But Dan is quite human. He cannot change a light bulb. We use regular plumbers and electricians on a regular basis. He is a wonderful father, and more recently, he's now a wonderful grandfather. We have 5 grandchildren, and rheumatology just has been his calling. He had the fortunate opportunity to meet Ed Du Bois. Nancy Du Bois is still with us in this world. Unfortunately, Ed passed away quite some years ago, and Dan was able to help Ed Du Bois through his illness and then eventually took over his practice. And the rest has kind of been history. He was a wonderful, wonderful man and a great mentor, as was many of the early giants in the field of rheumatology. The lupus patients have been very special to us, and I think it's because we really like them as people. I know I've been working with Lupus LA now for many, many years. We've had wonderful events. They're really amazing people. They always, I mean, this is unscientific, there's no peer review, but they seem to generally have this quality that they're sure they can't do as much as everybody else, so they do 3 times as much as most normal people do. And that's and their drive to get better and to confront their illness and deal with it is nothing short of amazing. So we're all very proud of you. It has been Rheumatology Week. We did have a wonderful lupus event Thursday night, and look forward to having many more in the future. And tonight I understand there's a scleroderma dinner that the first are helping to put on. So I hope to see you all again later, and thank you for honoring my husband.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's great. So now, on behalf of California Rheumatology Alliance, I hope you will join me to congratulate Dr. Dan Wallace as an honor to present 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Daniel Wallace. Come on. Thank you very much for all what you did.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you very, very much. So my life is segued to several major factors, meeting Janice 50 years ago and being happily married for 50 years. In 1977, I was a combined Cedars UCLA Rheumatology Fellow when the program was combined. I was Carl Pearson's last fellow. It was a very, there's a couple of us who were in that group who were here today, like Saul and X. It was unfortunate that I didn't get to know Carl too well because he was first elected president of the ARA, which was the ACR, and then within months he was diagnosed with terminal colon cancer. And he passed away in 1981. Then I had the opportunity to meet Ed Du Bois, who was a legend in his own time, and just he dedicated his textbook to his patients from whom I have learned. And that's been something that I've always cherished. Then I was an associate of Alan Metzger for 30 years. Alan was a real character for those of you who knew him. He worked with Paul Terasaki and was the author of the original B27 paper, but he also had quite a life. The reason why he is not here right now is that he's been in the hospital with a pacemaker, which he just got, and the reason why he got the pacemaker may or may not be related to the fact that he just got married for the 4th time. But that's Alan. And generation moves on. It's great to hear from Christine. My PA Ashley is here. And I just want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you want to say something?
I just wanted to let you guys know, first of all, that Dan and I share the first name. First thing, that's a good thing, right? But he and I have gone a long time, and I must tell you that if there's ever a lupus patient, they should be with Dan. Truly an amazing physician, and we really are lucky to have him around. Just a quickie. I think we should all stand up and give him a standing ovation.